Alright y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. So today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I found on my own. This wasn't a recommendation. I know there are a bunch of recommendations and I've been trying to hit up all of them, but there's a lot of issues with copyright and just stuff being age restricted or blocked in certain countries. So I'm trying to find a bunch of different stuff, so I hope you guys can appreciate this one. Again, definitely keep those recommendations coming, so I will be checking those out in the future. I just need to be a little more selective. But I think you guys are going to enjoy this video. It seems pretty solid. This is actually some close quarter battle training from the British Army. And this specific channel is Military Combat Network. So it seems like that channel has a lot of React videos and similar stuff that you would find on my channel. So pretty cool if you guys want to go over and check that out. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into it. Now, if you guys couldn't tell, I have some Yorkshire in the background, so you guys were able to send some Yorkshire tea over, so that's what I'm drinking right now. So I do appreciate that. It's really cool that you guys are willing to send me that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do appreciate it. It's a good pick me up being over here in Korea because I don't have access to that sort of stuff. So I do appreciate it. I'll keep my address down in the description. So if you guys want to send me stuff, feel free. But let's get into this video. It should be good. It looks very solid from what I've seen so far.
Remember, CQM is an extremely difficult skill that has to be practiced.
Nice tattoo.
Always remember, there is no saying where that threat is going to pop up from. In close quarter situations, that threat could come left, right, potentially from...
Okay, so we need to look at the equipment. Like, first things first, with any of these videos, you have to look at the equipment. And oh my gosh, this shotgun is so freaking badass. I love seeing it. Like, every time I see it, I perk up just because it's so badass. So that's the Benelli M1014. Now, I used that shotgun in the Marine Corps for a little bit. It's a ton of fun. Yeah, great shotgun. For CQB, we didn't necessarily use shotguns for actually shooting targets in CQB or shooting at people. It's usually for like breaching and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you definitely can do it. The M1014 is very capable. It's a semi-automatic shotgun, extremely reliable. And yeah, I definitely want to get one of those when I get back to the States. But you can see they have like some camouflage on the helmets. It's very solid. They have some pretty nice kit. You can see there's nothing too loose or ugly on their kits. And then it looks like they have their, I don't know if you guys still call them the SA-80s, but this is like the newer version. And they got like looks like the 320 grenade launcher, flashlight, looks like a Trigicon optic. So pretty solid kit so far, what we're seeing in this video. So yeah, again, when you're looking at the kit, you need to make sure that it's very set up for what you're trying to do. Close quarter battle, you can see a whole bunch of different variations of what the kit's going to look like. And this is a pretty solid one. Now, real quick before we go on in the video, a lot of y'all aren't subscribed, and I know the nature of React videos, you might not necessarily be interested in every single topic that I'm talking about. But if you found yourself, coming back to my channel and enjoying the videos, definitely hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out, and I do definitely appreciate that from all of y'all. Right now, it's about 98% of the people who watch the videos aren't subscribed. And again, I know it's just because I bounce in between topics. But again, if you guys have come back to check out another video, definitely feel free to subscribe. You might be interested in some stuff in the future. So I do appreciate it, but we'll press on with this video.
As that threat arises, then we'll have to turn our bodies onto the target, always making sure that maximum protected space faces directly towards that threat area. Once the weapon system comes up, the enemy will be under pressure exactly as you will be to end that engagement as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So what he's saying is, like with close quarter battle, it's all about survivability, and there's a lot of things happening in a short amount of time. So you're going to be doing everything in your power to make sure that you can increase your survivability, but the enemy is going to do the exact same thing. So you need to be very quick, very precise, which why it requires a whole bunch of repetitions to make sure you can do it correctly. So you can see they're doing some like turning and facing drills, which is awesome for CQB because people and targets can come from all different areas, and you need to be able to reorient yourself to that target and engage it effectively.
Remember clinical judgment, making sure you get to the primary aiming points as quickly as possible so you can eliminate that threat by smashing rounds straight into those primary killing areas.
Nice.
At these extremely close ranges, 10 meters and potentially less, lies your decision-making capability, your ability in itself in your weapon system, your knowledge, but primarily your confidence that will decide if you can defeat that enemy threat. As we're advancing towards that target,
Good point.
they're becoming slightly nervous. They don't expect us to do that. As you advance towards the target, the slightly faster you will advance, the slightly faster you will fire. When you run out of ammunition, you will have to transit to that secondary weapon system.
All right, so he's saying a lot of good stuff very quickly, so kind of impressive. But yes, very true. With CQB, you need to be solid with your moving and shooting because you want to be able to press the enemy and sort of put pressure on them so they're being reactive. Even though they're the ones, popping out, once you turn and face them and start engaging and moving towards them, it's going to put a lot of pressure on them. And a lot of times people aren't necessarily about that life. So they're going to try and skedaddle real quick. But yeah, shooting and moving drills, very, very solid. And what he's saying is very important. A lot of times with CQB, or not even necessarily in CQB, when you're talking about close quarter engagements, they happen within like 10 meters or shorter. So you need to be very quick. And sometimes it's sort of hard to react because it's such a short distance. Things are unfolding very, very quickly.
Again, always moving forward. Finally, when you need to conduct that second pistol magazine change, drop to that knee as swift as you can and finish off the engagement. Does anybody have any questions before we start?
All right, so I'll stop it right there real quick. So switching to a sidearm is definitely what you want to do because with close quarter engagements and whatnot, you don't know if you have a malfunction. You don't know if you're running out of ammo. You can usually tell by like the trigger squeeze, but you don't really have time to check. So you want to switch to your pistol and make sure you can engage very quickly after that. And taking a knee when you're reloading is very good just because it gets you out of the way so your buddies behind you can, continue to engage if they need to. And it also makes you a smaller target. It allows you to be a smaller threat to the enemy and maybe even get behind some cover.
Right then, troops. Welcome into the CQB range. As we go through this slightly more complex terrain, always remember, communication is one of the key aspects to this kind of work. As you work into more complex terrain, you'll be presented with a number of different threats.
Right clear, right left, from left.
There may be no threats at all. The body's at an amber level, focusing on a threat, but nothing specific.
Okay, so he said the body's at an amber level. So I think he's referring to like what we call the Cooper's color code. So there's a bunch of codes or colors that you can sort of describe someone's personality. So you have like white, which is like you being unaware, yellow, which is like you slightly aware, and then you can sort of move into amber or orange where you're slightly alert and you're looking for threats. Red is when you're like starting to engage a threat. And then you have black, which is when you're just like completely out of the fight and just like shell-shocked almost. And there's also even a gray. So like when you're in condition gray, it's sort of like your autopilot. So your training just takes over and you start to move and operate based off of your training. You're not necessarily reacting based off of your thoughts. It's just your training really takes over. So it's cool that he's implementing that in there. And this training environment looks very legit. It's very similar to what you would see when you're actually on deployment and whatnot. So very cool for them to be training in a solid location like this.
Body is starting to think. You're getting channeled. There is a threat, but you're not focused specifically on one thing.
Right.
As you work your way through into the first engagement, the adrenaline will spike, and only through realistic training will you be able to control how your body reacts.
There you go.
As you move from one threat to the next, your training has stopped you from taking that shot.
All right, so that's very good. He's identifying the threats and what's not a threat. So they're identifying, okay, this is a civilian, this isn't. But something that I am seeing is you can see they're both stuck in their optics right now, which is not a good thing because when you're stuck in your optic, you get what's known as tunnel vision. And when you have tunnel vision in CQB, it decreases your field of view. It makes it very hard for you to focus on the big picture. So, you might be looking at one specific thing through your optic, and there's a whole lot of other stuff happening outside of your optic that you might not necessarily be catching. Even if you have both eyes open, it's much harder to sort of shift your focus from your optic out of your optic. So when you're walking through like a house or a CQB environment like this, just lower the weapon slightly. At least that's what we've been trained to do. Is just lower the weapon slightly so you can look over your optic and then present when you need to. That's why they have these reflex sights, so it's easy to just pop up that small red dot into their field of view.
Your sound judgment, your shot accountability, but the contact is still moving. You may encounter more threats. If one of the weapon systems goes down,
Magazine!
it is then the coverman's duty
There you
to
go.
cover his battle partner. Only that sound teamwork will make sure that you will win that situation. Moving through as the situation gets tighter, the threat gets closer, controlled speed, aggression, all the things that we train hard to ensure that we can do.
Enemy down! Enemy down!
After you've finished any engagement, always be aware that threat may still be live.
How did you find that, then, troops?
All right, so that was a really solid video. Not gonna lie, I've never seen a video where they had like the dude sort of talking over them as they're demonstrating it. But from what I was hearing, everything he was saying was spot on. Now I wasn't able to keep up with everything because he was talking kind of fast. But I mean, it just shows that he's confident and that he knows what he's talking about. But from what I did hear, it was very spot on, and the demonstration really helps to sort of picture everything. But yeah, definitely let me know how this video relates to what y'all have seen or what y'all have trained with when you were in the military, or just from other videos you've seen. It's cool to see how these training videos can relate to y'all, because I can talk from my point of view, but I'm just talking from, based off of my experience and from what I understand works and what doesn't work. But you guys might have had different experiences, so definitely feel free to put that in the comments section. It's very cool to see those nuances and what people train and what's more effective in certain scenarios. But yeah, Military Combat Network, that was a very solid video, so kudos to them on that one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to get some merch, I'll put the link in my video description. But if not, totally understandable. You can definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload any more videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's cool to see my brothers cross the pond doing things so professionally, so kudos to them on that one. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But that is it for this one, so I will see y'all in the next one.